Oh, oh man, the intro in the last video. I don't want to talk about it. I clicked the wrong file and then I posted that, and it was up for like 30 minutes, and people had their fun with the clips. Oh man, I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. I make these mistakes quite a lot. I seem to make these mistakes quite often, but nevertheless, it happens. Let's just learn from it. But this video is the NBA has been hiding LeBron's biggest secret for years. This was a suggestion from my Discord. Basically, I've got to catch up. So there's going to be 3 videos today because I've got to catch up on like Discord suggestions. Basically, this guy was ranked number 1 on my Discord, and when that happens, it like resets every week. Resets every week. They get a specific suggestion that I have to do because of like their loyalty and their sort of like persistence, I guess, in chatting, and they're just like they're just there chatting a lot, like consistently. And it's from Jimmy High Roller, and it was suggested by Look at Curry Man. And I've said the title already, but I've not really done a LeBron video in ages, and I see this video, it's got 4 dislikes. So I'm assuming this is like a video that's somewhat controversial in a sense, because Jimmy High Roller doesn't seem to usually get dislikes like that. But nevertheless, let's just see what this is about, and let's get into the video, man. I'm interested to see what this could be, because I have no idea what this is going to be along the lines of, but nevertheless, let's just see what this video is about.
Is not going to be slowing down anytime soon. In fact, it almost seems like he's
I love
getting
that clip so much.
better. But how?
Aging like a fine wine, man. Just
What's up, everybody? It's Jimmy. And when it comes to sports, Father Time is still undefeated. One day, inevitably, every athlete will have to come to terms with the fact that they aren't who they used to be. Every athlete except LeBron James. How has LeBron somehow transcended time?
And this is when he was, what, 33? He must have been around 33 because this is nearly 2 years ago. He's now 35 and he's still balling out as hard, like, at the top level. It's crazy.
Halted his aging process and at one point even got more explosive as time passed. I mean, the man is a freak of nature, yes. He'll go down as one of the best athletes to ever touch a basketball. But there may be more to this story. Now, before I dive any deeper into this discussion, I want to make 3 things very clear. 1, I will be making some very bold theories within this video,
okay, so it's gonna be
not
controversial.
accusing anyone. Within this video, there will be facts that, when strung together, seem to point to a certain conclusion, but I don't have any proof nor any authority on the matter.
See, like, I know he's tall, but I've never really seen, I guess you could say, his figure properly. But you see, like, in these clips, bro, he is scary. Like,
2, if you've been following my channel, you know LeBron James is my favorite player of all time. This is not a knock on my man Bron. This is just an analyzation of a timeline of events that seem to all lead back to the same conclusion. And 3, anytime I say the word in this video, I'm gonna censor it.
Oh no.
Hey, people at YouTube, if you're watching this, nothing going on
very
here.
controversial.
We're not talking about drugs or anything. Move along. Now, back when LeBron joined the league, there wasn't much speculation about his physical abilities. He was young, he was a physical specimen. But then the Miami era happened, and immediately people began to question what they were seeing. His muscle gain, his incredible recovery time, and his ability to play night in and night out with almost no rest. Like usual, people assumed the worst. Steroids.
mad.
Damn. It hurts.
I'm going to take this video with a pinch of salt, to say the least. I don't think LeBron's going to be... I just know he's not going to be one of those players, but it's still cool to see these perspectives. And like he said, he's a fan of this guy. He's his favourite player. So, I mean, I guess this is just like rumours that have happened in the past. But this, I just know from now, I'm probably not going to 100% agree with this video, but still, take this with a pinch of salt and just see what it's about.
Just to say the word in context with Bron,
exactly.
Let's first look at the facts. For NBA players, there are basically 3 major ways to enhance your physical performance. Steroids, thought to be the drug of choice of all professional athletes, but this is actually not the case for NBA players. EPO, a naturally occurring hormone that stimulates the bone marrow to produce more red blood cells. Basically, it vastly improves your aerobic capacity. And HGH, otherwise known as the anti-aging serum. This helps regulate body composition, boosts muscle and bone growth, helps with recovery, and gives athletes a huge boost in energy. See, one of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to steroid or PED use is that athletes only take them to get swole or to increase their brute strength. And this is far from the truth. In the realm of basketball, steroids and PEDs can vastly help with recovery time, fat loss, healing after an injury, sustaining high energy levels, and increasing endurance. Yes, they'll make you stronger, but in the case of basketball players, that is more than likely the last reason why they'd be using PEDs. Now, back to our story. In Miami, LeBron became more than just a freak of nature. In fact, he became suspiciously inhuman. He gained 25 pounds of almost pure muscle, and he just didn't look the same. Add that to the fact that he only missed 14 games in 4 seasons in Miami, and this is where eyebrows began to raise. While his draft class peers and teammates began to slow down, LeBron was getting faster. Rolls his ankle, back the very next game like nothing ever even happened. Plays night in and night out, doesn't miss a beat, not once, and people were taking notice. Some of the effects to HGH use, muscle gain, hair loss, and cramping.
Mad. But still, these things like hair loss can just be like in the family. Cramps just like they can happen in any sporting sort of activity. Like it's not just from taking drugs. Like you get cramping if you just like you're overworking, like you're like pushing your body to levels that you shouldn't, or you're pushing your body to levels that you've not really reached before. I guess like cramps happen in that sort of scenario. I've had cramps in like soccer games, etc. And I ain't taken drugs. I can see the correlation though. It is an interesting like an interesting sort of look at what could be the case.
But the NBA knew they needed to look further into this.
Okay, so it was quite a big thing, I guess.
An investigation into a steroid clinic in Miami found that a man by the last name of Paul would come to pick up products for a man with the initials LJ. LeBron's initials are LJ, and his agent's name is Rich Paul. This is the same clinic that in 2013 outed numerous MLB, NBA, and NFL players for their steroid use.
God damn.
Also, a lady that worked at the clinic, specifically their financial transfers, says that many of her coworkers are 100% sure that LJ was LeBron. But as much as you could connect the dots, this is all just speculation. However, this wasn't even the most suspect PED-related event in Bron's career.
Wow.
Back in 2014, when LeBron rejoined the Cavs, you may recall him not looking or playing the same as years past. He had to cut all that weight he gained while in Miami and was back to 250 pounds. He said he felt better than ever. Yet, as the season got started, it was clear that he wasn't the same athlete. He wasn't as explosive or strong as he was just one season prior. And, well, that's pretty normal, I guess. Time goes along, athletes get slower, and you may find a way to get an extra hop in your step, such as losing weight. But it just so happens that around the same time period, the NBA was pushing to reform their testing on steroids and PEDs. It is speculated that LeBron had to fast and rid his system of all those performance enhancers he was taking over those past few years. Again, this is speculation though, not fact. But then during the middle of the season, LeBron took 2 weeks off while the Cavs were struggling to go back to Miami to revitalize and rejuvenate. Now, is it just a coincidence that LeBron went down to Miami in the middle of the season because he needed some mental and physical rest? Possibly. And, well, this wouldn't be so hard to believe if LeBron didn't come back from the trip more explosive and energized than ever before. It just doesn't add up. Sure, LeBron spends $1.5 million on his body every year. Yes, he takes his health and wellness very seriously, but so do most professional athletes. I know LeBron is the definition of a freak of nature, but aren't most pro athletes incredible athletes in their own right? And don't a lot of them spend an immense amount of time and money on their health and wellness? Why is LeBron the only player that can play 82 games in his 15th season?
Mental.
Lead the league
15
in minutes played, average better numbers than he ever has in his entire career, and not sustain even a minor injury. There just seems to be a missing piece to this equation. And again, I am the biggest LeBron fan there is. Growing up, the guy was my idol. I mean, I shaped my whole game around his. And to this day, he is still by far my favorite player in the league. In fact, he's my favorite athlete of all time. But sometimes you just have to critically think about these things. And I want to be clear, steroids don't just make you a great athlete. Your average basketball player can't just take steroids and instantly become...
Again, I don't... Again, this is like a very touchy subject, but the thing is with that, like it is true. Like if just a random person takes steroids, and like they're not like a proper athlete, it's not like they're just instantly gonna get these advantages, I guess you could say. Like, they still have to work hard for it, but that's not me saying taking steroids is a good thing, because it's definitely not. But I do see like the point he's making there.
An NBA player. But what PEDs can do is push you that extra little bit.
Yeah.
That almost seamlessly insignificant amount that can push a great player to a phenomenal player. Now, you may be thinking, if LeBron was using performance-enhancing drugs, the NBA would have caught on to him a long time ago. And
that's what I'm
you
thinking.
may be correct. But consider this. There are two main types of drug tests: blood testing and urine testing. Urine testing being the test of choice, since traces of these performance-enhancing drugs linger around longer in the urine than they do in the blood. Or something like that. I'm not a scientist. In order to catch an athlete using a PED, a lab would first have to know the exact makeup of that drug, its metabolites. Basically, a testing lab can only identify if a PED was used if they first know it exists. So if a PED is untested and unknown, the athlete taking it can and will get away with using it.
Wow.
This is important because of one thing: designer drugs, or drugs that are specifically made to pass these tests.
Oh,
Not only
mad.
are they made to pass these tests, but they are constantly being reformulated and re-engineered to stay ahead of the testing curve. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the power of money. You can literally get performance-enhancing drugs tailored to your specific needs.
Wow.
Also, the
I didn't
NBA
even
is
know that
known
was a
for
thing.
having the worst testing and test protocol of all professional sports. It always has and probably always will. In the last 10 years, only 6 NBA players have been caught using performance-enhancing drugs. Over that same time period, 43 MLB players have
Oh
been
my
caught using.
days! What are the consequences of if you get caught? Do you get like banned for a certain amount of time? Do you get a fine? Like, I know it's happened in soccer a few times. A player from the team that I support had it, and I think he was banned from soccer for a whole year, or maybe 2 years. So, like, it was a serious ban for soccer. So I'm interested to see if like, the consequences in basketball are similar.
Using PEDs or steroids. I mean, in 2014 alone, the NFL suspended 29 players for using PEDs
Wow.
before the season even started.
Wow.
And let's be honest, with the amount of money that's on the line, how many athletes are willing to take performance-enhancing drugs to get even a slight edge? Somehow LeBron has defied all notions of time and regression, as if he's somehow immune to it. But he isn't. He's human, just like the rest of us. Which leads me into my last point. Even if the NBA knew LeBron was on some sort of performance enhancement, I honestly don't think they would do anything about it. LeBron has surpassed superstar status. He is a sports icon. He brings in an absurd amount of revenue to the league, and he's everything you could want in a role model. A family man, great leader and teammate. In 15 years, he's never had any off-the-court issues. He's just as much of an asset to the league as he is to his team. And I truly think the NBA would avoid ruining his career by any means necessary. He simply means too much to the sports and to the business that is the NBA. But, I mean, we have to ask ourselves, does it even matter? The reason we pay to watch NBA games instead of going
That's
to
true.
our local rec.
I guess people say it matters because if it becomes like a culture in a sport, like all the young players like in college basketball start doing it because they're hearing of like the professional players doing it. There's things to it, because I mean, when you are like a top athlete and you're in the NBA, you're obviously an insane basketballer anyway. But if some people are taking these drugs and some people aren't, it gives them the advantage, because some people would just be strongly against it, like some basketballers. But this is a very interesting topic, because I like how he's went into other sports and how he's shown how in the NFL they have a lot more like drug testing bans, etc. But maybe it's to do with the sports, like the more physical sports just seem to have more people taking the drugs, but maybe not. Like it's just I guess it's just however you look at it.
And watching some scrubs play is because NBA players are big and strong and fast. They do things we could only dream of doing. And
with or
at
without
the end of
the
day,
drugs.
The NBA is just a league for entertainment. Yes, for the players, it's more than that, but for us fans, that's what it boils down to. So I ask myself, if I am being entertained, does it really matter what's going on behind the scenes? I think what this guy commented pretty much sums this entire theory up. I want to watch superheroes play basketball, not regular people. Hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, until next time.
I did like this video a lot. I guess just in general, drugs in sport is just I keep saying the word drugs. This is definitely getting demonetized. But like in sport, it's just a touchy subject. Like however you look at it, some people will defend it and people will frown upon that. Some people will be against it and that'll be frowned upon. Like I'm definitely not for drugs in sport, but there is a topic of discussion for like these guys are already top athletes. Like they're already doing things without the drugs. They're already doing things that none of us would be able to do, or the majority of the population just couldn't dream of doing. So I guess like if they're taking the drugs, it's not like they're affecting other people. And in a sense, they're boosting our excitement for the sport because it's just going to like emphasize even more like their sort of physical capabilities. But still, it is a very touchy subject, and I'm not too sure which side of the fence I am on this. But nevertheless, this was a very interesting video. And let's look at the comments because the people's opinions on this type of stuff does intrigue me. Who else loves this channel? Me, man. I love this channel, man. There's an easy explanation as to why it's so good. The dark side of the force is a pathway to many abilities considered to be unnatural. Some people are just freaks of nature, and LeBron is definitely one of them. Saiyans don't lose their youth till their 80th birthday. NBA wouldn't do anything because LeBron earns them a ton of money. That is true. He is his sort of revenue streams for the. Now he's just black. Fuck's sake. LeBron is my favourite player. Damn, it hurts for me to say this. It does seem kind of suspicious. I roided up guy beat your I'm pretty sure YouTube allows you to say drugs, dude. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that, but this is a banging video, and thanks for the suggestion, man. Because I wouldn't usually look at videos like this, and I feel like this is going to be a controversial one. Some people just won't enjoy it because, again, LeBron's their favourite player. This isn't me taking sides at all. I think LeBron's he's a joke. He's an absolute specimen, man. And this is just a sort of like contextual sort of video. You can take it however you want. But the fact that it's someone who said, like Jimmy Highwater said, literally he looked up to him when he was a kid. He's his favourite athlete, his favourite basketballer. The fact that he said this, it does definitely put it up for like a topic of discussion. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time, like, subscribe, and peace.